Bam, we're live. Guys, what's up? Don't have a second monitor today. I did purchase one. Greg and I cruised down to Best Buy in Coeur d'Alene. And of course, the guys there told me what to get. And I am so much smarter than 99% of people when it comes to like Mac shit. And I knew it wasn't going to work. But the kid there insisted. And it's like,
didn't work.
I'm a $7,000 monitor Mac type of guy. You know what I mean? With the $1,000 fucking aluminum laser stand. I know my shit. I got all the Mac stuff, everything. And I shouldn't have listened, but I was desperate. So now I have. There's this. You know, there's an HDMI cable that I've never seen before that came with this monitor. It's not symmetrical. You guys ever seen an asymmetrical HDMI cable?
No. I don't know what that looks like.
It's bizarre. Anyway, I'll crack the code on it, but now I'm gonna have to order some sort of adapter. I knew it didn't have USB-C. Oh, nope, and it doesn't fit the HDMI in the MacBook Pro. He's like, of course it will work on the MacBook Pro. I'm like,
How long?
That's not an HDMI, my guy. What is that? What would you say that is? Yeah, what is that thing? Oh, hold on, let me show you this thing.
How long has it been since he operated with one monitor?
Never. Usually it's always with the second monitor. Yeah. When he got up to the house, he was like, fuck. I was on the phone with him when he's setting up and he's like, damn, I just realized I left my second monitor, which is crucial when traveling. Because if you're working off that laptop and you try to share something, it just covers you. You know what's ironic about this shirt is it's a gray shirt, like the benchmark workout. And you see how it's got like the marks here from the bar.
From dumbbells.
What? Will, what is this thing? Look at this thing.
What the?
It's an
looks
asymmetrical.
Right to me.
It's an ace. It should be bent on. See how it bends down on both sides, or on this side, but not on this side.
Display port.
It's called the display port cable. Some Microsoft shit, some PC shit.
Here I am sitting with
shit.
Retard gaming computer shit. That super video, or whatever it is. I'm not happy. Okay, I shouldn't have got it's a Samsung. I should have just ordered something from Apple. Not CEO.
I love
shit
Samsung shit.
Yeah, I like a Samsung TV. Dave Castro came out with a weekend review today. Boy, it is. I've never gotten so many text messages about it. I did text Dave. I'm like, hey, what did you say today?
Wow.
What did you say today?
I haven't watched it at all. Have you watched it, Tyler?
Yeah, I always get in trouble for watching it before we do it.
You got to react live. I haven't seen anything.
Also, you guys have a super duper great treat coming on this evening. It looks like today at 6:30, we will have the United States of America, their greatest border reporter.
Oh, your guy
is coming on. He's at the border. We're about to find out firsthand what is going on at the border, and he'll explain all that shit to us. So, Jorge Ventura.
Oh man, I'm so bummed.
So that should be cool.
I'm stoked about it, but I'm bummed I won't be able to be there for it.
Man, oh man, who in their fucking right mind would vote for Biden?
He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy, and you know what? I'd rather have a nice guy than a divider. He's really
been through a lot.
Yeah. And look at the way
it tends to happen when you're 70,000 years old. You tend to go through a lot.
He's been through a lot.
He's just got the reps in, you know?
I believe his name is pronounced George. Fucking racist. They could racist Ken.
Okay, Kenneth.
Yeah. Mr. White Guy. Okay. Behind the scenes, episode 6 is up. Previews for episode 7 have been sent to my 3,000 of my closest friends. It looks like for those of you who want to see the behind the scenes episode 7 on Wednesday, you will not be, and you can blame Souza for that, because Souza in the discussion today is suggesting that we put the behind the scenes from Wadapalooza made by Patrick Rios, which is going to blow you guys away. That will go up Wednesday for members, and then on Friday you will get another behind the scenes 7, and then Monday we'll be back on schedule. So in a way, you have to wait an extra 2 days for 7, but it's not going to push out 8, so you're kind of stoked there. and then you get the bonus Waterpalooza. So if you're stoked, thank me. If you're not stoked, blame
me.
I think it's a damn good deal. It's a damn good deal.
Thank you. Edgar. Oh, sorry.
My bad. I got you.
That's good. Edgar Lozano eats pasta. Sevi, I was finally able to catch up with the behind the scenes, and I'm loving it. You guys are killing it. I can't imagine what you guys can accomplish with more resources. Mind blowing. Yeah. Thanks, man. I don't know how many. Let's say we have 400 comments on the behind the scenes, and it's not one negative. It's like just nothing negative. Yeah. It is so cool. And I've been watching some other people's behind the scenes, and they are not behind the scenes. They're recaps. They're self flagellation. Is that what that is? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the self flagellation, and I'm okay with recaps, but they're not recaps.
Yeah.
So now this is not only the best behind the scenes, it's the only behind the scenes, which makes it obviously the best behind the scenes.
You heard?
Dawn Fall neutralized an affiliate today. Yeah, I saw that. I don't know if it was today, but I saw Frank had made a post. The affiliate collective guy had made a post saying Dawn had I forget the exact post, but kicked him to the curb.
That's happened to a couple affiliates I've seen recently, yeah.
Who else got kicked to the curb?
Wasn't there? I thought there was another one. I might be mistaken.
There was another one.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that was the guy, Beehive CrossFit.
Yeah. Okay,
he got kicked. Yeah,
that guy got kicked. That guy.
Yeah.
Both of these, I'm sort of trying to get to the bottom of it, and I'm sort of just kind of I want to stay kind of like the 30,000 foot view on both of these.
Yeah, just an observer. Real quick, one thing I want to say about that is if people are trying to make changes, the last thing you do is berate your affiliate rep. That's like having a bad experience at a restaurant that had nothing to do with the server, and then you bring the server over and you just like bitch at them for it and scream at them. Like they're just the messenger in there. So be kind. Okay, sorry.
If CrossFit contacted me and they were like, "Hey, dude, we're not letting you fucking come to the cover any more CrossFit events." There's no way in hell I'd be like, how the fuck are you doing that? I would get it. I would completely get it. I fucking go hard on the paint on CrossFit. I wouldn't be surprised, but I try not to be a hater. I fully support the level 1. I fully support the open this year. I fully support the cure for the world's most vexing problem. I think the stuff they post on Twitter is completely fucking vapid and retarded. I think that it's bad for the brand, and it makes it look like CrossFit's a ghost town. It feels like, fuck, what are you guys on MySpace? I mean, it is some like ghetto, like you go into a tired casino, Indian casino, and there's no one there, and you're like, fuck. That's the way their Twitter account feels. It is bad. And posting a picture of a dog on the games page, I mean, horrible. But if right after I say all that, Dawn were to call me and be like, hey, dude, you talk shit about CrossFit's social media, and we don't want you. We're not inviting you to our events anymore. I'm not going to be like, you asshole.
Fair enough.
I would get it. I go hard, but for some reason, I think I add a shit ton of value too. A shit ton. Yeah. I do the affiliate series. I've had more than half the affiliates I've had on here are just jerking fucking HQ off. I can't think of a better way to spend $1,000 than to take your level 1. It's interesting. But if I was an affiliate and I was lobbing bombs if I'm just lobbing bombs at CrossFit, or if this CF affiliate collective is somehow a threat to the status quo, I could see them not wanting this guy Frank around. Frank, this is the guy who runs the CF Affiliate Collective Instagram account. The CF Affiliate Collective has repeatedly stated that our issue is not with Don, Dave, Nicole, or Katie. Oh, you mean like on a personal level? Yeah. I don't think, well, other than the fact that they might think you're threatening their job, if they think that, then it would be personal. But before we get, because this could turn into a wild show. So let's play this. I haven't seen this yet.
Yep.
And then and let's see what happens. For those of you who don't know, let's see what Dave says, and then if you guys don't know, maybe we'll get into the backstory a little bit. Okay, here we go. Action. Sousa's running the controls. You want to go at regular speed today since it's just 12 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no! If it gets bad, it start at 1.25, and it gets weird, go to normal. I'm just worried about your connection.
I know, me too. Sorry, guys,
Okay.
if there's an issue with it.
View, January 22nd, 2024. Just finished some filming with Matt Bishel from our CrossFit team. He asked to come over and film some content for some Goruck videos that we're doing with them, highlighting rucking and highlighting the partnership. So we hiked to the top of the hill at 6:45 this morning, had 40 pounds in a ruck. He got some B-roll of just the rucking. And then he asked if I'd do a workout. So I wasn't prepared or planning to do that. So on the fly, we programmed a little box jump on a tree stump and run with the ruck workout. So I'd run 200 meters, take the ruck off, run downhill, uphill 200 meters, take the ruck off, put it on the tree stump, 10 box jumps on the tree stump, which was pretty high. It was around 30 inches. And then put the pack back on and repeat that for 5 rounds. So it's a good little sprint, fun little workout. And it's been raining here all morning. So I'm wet. It's not sweat. Even though I was sweating, I'm just wet from the rain and being outside trying to get that big fire going. It took a while to get that fire going because it's been raining, but finally got it going. So good morning, good session. Been here for over 3 hours because we were filming. It's 9:30. So recording the weekend review at 9:30.
Okay, hold on. I do want to say this. For just whatever it's worth, anyone who were to say something like, oh, hey, Dave's just doing this because they're a sponsor for the event. Dave has been rucking since before I fucking knew him. He introduced me to what rucking is. I remember last year he invited me on a 50-mile ruck. He invited me on a 35-mile ruck. On both of them I said I would go, but I'm not going to ruck. I'll just go. You know what I mean? Like if I make it from start to finish. So he is a rucker. He's probably really excited, I'm guessing, about the sponsorship because it's something he gives a shit about. He probably he probably never drank a sip of Progenics, or he probably, never had a sip of Monster. I'm guessing he never wore a pair of Nobles. But he's a fucking rucking machine, and he loves that shit. And so congrats to CrossFit for getting something that Dave's like. And I'm not saying that it's bad that you take money from those other people, but this one he probably loves. He probably got like so much cool ruck shit, and he's happy. And the president of Goruck is a very, very good friend of mine and Dave's, like a very good friend. So, and actually he'll be on the show tomorrow morning, Jimmy Letchford. Dave and I worked with him very closely for years. I mean, very closely. All right, here we go.
What time do you think Dave got up, by the way, for this?
He gets up every morning at the same time. He gets up. I think it's raining outside. That's why his hair looks like that. But he gets up every morning, 5:30, I think. He gets up 5:30. He reads for an hour. Sometimes I'll even just crank call him sometimes, like because I know he's reading, let everything go on and hang up. He's like, what? I'm like, oh, pocket dial.
Just that early morning pocket dial. You out for your ruck. Sorry.
Yeah. He gets up. He reads an hour every morning. I'm pretty sure 5:30 to 6:30. All right, here we go.
Dive into comments. First comment is from at Beach House CrossFit. Thoughts or opinions on Frank F's initiative? So Frank owns First City CrossFit in Monterey, and he is someone who I've known for several years now and been to that gym multiple times because Monterey is super close. It's 30 minutes away, so it's one of the closer gyms to me. And I've even done open workouts there. Over the years, had a few meetings with him and heard his opinions on CrossFit and how we should and could be doing things better. And he's been very vocal to me about that. I've actually facilitated meetings with Don and Frank after Don took the role that he currently has. And so Frank's been someone we've gone back and forth with for a while, someone we've communicated with a lot over the last couple of years. Recently, though, he decided to start an initiative to rally affiliates to organize. And I think essentially, I could be saying this wrong because I haven't looked too closely at what he's doing, but to organize affiliates to kind of take back CrossFit. He has an ideal and an idea and a vision of how he thinks CrossFit should be run and what CrossFit should be doing. And I don't think we're doing those things to his liking or doing some of the ideas he has fast enough. So he got frustrated and decided to organize. Through that process, he's also since started taking a lot of shots at us, started taking a lot of jabs, started questioning our leadership.
Okay, pause this. Hold on a second. So a couple things I want to clarify. Dave said he hasn't looked into what Frank is doing, but he also is saying Frank is taking jabs at us. So there's a little bit of inconsistency there. He said that Frank's trying to take back the affiliates. It's not that I don't think Frank's trying to take back because he never had them. Maybe he's trying to take over. And Greg did say, when Greg was on the show, Greg Glassman, the former owner of CrossFit and founder, said, hey, what would you, if you were in their position and you thought the affiliates were organizing, what would you do? How would that make you feel? And he goes, it was one of my biggest fears always, and I'd be scared shitless. And so I understand what Dave's articulating. I think that was what Dave was trying to say, that, hey, why would we want someone amongst our ranks who's trying to organize and take it away from Dave in essence works for the private equity company that bought it. So why would we want someone around who's going to take that from the people who bought this as an investment to make money? That being said, I don't know. I'd be curious what Dave knows and doesn't know about Frank, because there is that inconsistency. Do you guys have any thoughts on what I said or what Dave said, Souza?
Yeah, he always does that. He tells you that he doesn't watch anything, but then gives you details on what he didn't watch, which is always kind of funny. But I don't know if and maybe there is some truth to that. Maybe, is my mic okay now? I turned it down. I don't know.
It's a big break for me. If his mic's still too loud, just comment in the comments. We'll fix it.
Yeah, it's probably not my mic. It's probably my presence.
So I don't blame Don. I don't blame Don. I'm trying to be bound. I don't blame Don for booting him out, just if that's what he's trying to do, if he's threatening the owners of the company.
Yeah, I don't blame Don for that.
I would want Frank to go away too.
And I think that that we on the show too have also accused like HQ of just kind of being soft these days and not really
too soft.
And so I think that, and I definitely have said that. So they're probably just using that as an example, right? It's low hanging fruit. They have somebody who's kind of poking at them and organizing, and they don't really like it. So then they can put them on the chopping block and say, hey, look, here's what we did. We cut this guy out.
And Frankie, look at Frank says, I don't blame Don either. Yeah. By the way, you can turn your mic up just a little bit. Thoughts, Tyler?
Dave's level of knowing is probably, he knows 90% and he's not willing to opine because he doesn't know the 10%. If he knew the full 100, he'd be like, okay, I know everything. And so I think he's backing out to be like, there's might be one thing I don't know about what's the situation is. What I'm interested to know is Dave's opinion, I guess, on if he put himself in their shoes. Like, does their move
right? Yeah, I don't blame
sense?
what Frank's doing either. Yeah, gets a good point. I don't blame what Frank's doing either. Like, if Frank's not happy and he sees that there's not strong control over the affiliates, and he thinks he could do better, that's what capitalism and free markets are about.
Because that's what we're seeing in every piece of the CrossFit ecosystem right now. Is the athletes are starting to try to unionize, the judges are starting to try to unionize, the affiliates are starting to try to unionize, and it's like, okay, if everybody's doing that, what's the underlying girder there? I don't love unionization, but I can't say that his hand wasn't forced to a degree, or that his action wasn't appropriate in some way. So,
and Frank is saying here in the comments, I don't blame Don either, and he has a fiduciary responsibility to rep private equity. Yeah,
also true.
He can't be like, hey Frank, by the way, if you do steal this shit, could I have my job? Right? I mean, he can't do that. Maybe he could even go to jail for that.
And I think to Frank's point is like, he's basically saying like, if the private equity is going to own it, their ultimate goal in the thing that's going to govern all their decisions is 100% predicated on money, on making ROI. And we know, as we talked with Greg, that was not what his end all be all was. And I think that's where the issue comes in with CrossFit being owned by a private equity. That will always be the governing decision.
Right.
Is my
Frank, Frank's saying if the affiliates were making money hand over fist, there wouldn't be any complaints from him. He's saying if there was a line out the door, the complaints would stop. I've said this to Frank, and I've said this on the show, and I've shared this before. I personally don't think a group of affiliates can run CrossFit either. Like no matter, they're just people, and they'll end up fucking end up at some point taking Coca-Cola as a sponsor.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, they'll end up taking Coca-Cola as a
the first
sponsor.
Part.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going. Here we go.
Questioning our motives, and so has become very aggressive in the process. Very aggressive in terms of vocally loud and taking these shots at us from this position of being an affiliate owner. And so he was an affiliate owner, and he had renewed in November and planned on being an affiliate I guess, until next November. So just a couple months ago, he re-upped his affiliation, at the same time trying to organize affiliates basically against us and taking jabs at us and our leadership and the way we're doing things. And so the question had to be asked internally, should we allow him to continue to be an affiliate if he's going to have this very negative and vocal opinion of us and our leadership? So when Beach House CrossFit asked this or made this comment, this was 3 days ago. So I don't know if you know this, but Frank has posted video since this weekend. But after that comment and this weekend, Don called Frank and actually talked to him about like, hey, do you want to be an affiliate? And if so, we don't want you disparaging us or making these comments against us. And Frank told him he was going to continue to do that. And so Don decided to de-affiliate him. And I think that was absolutely the right call to make and to do at this point. And very proud of Don and the leadership that he exhibited in making this tough call. That's probably going to be controversial and some people might not agree with, but it's something that like I really respect in him for doing. And it's the type of leader that's the type of leader I want to work for and I want to rally behind. And I think us as a community should see that and respect it and understand what it represents. Like, hey, here we have this affiliate who's disparaging the way CrossFit's being run, disparaging the brand, and wants to organize, have an effort against us essentially, and doing it in a very vocal and negative way. And that is something we should not allow as leaders of CrossFit to be in our ranks. So you want the benefit of being a CrossFit affiliate, but you also want to be very negative and criticize and take jabs at us while flying the CrossFit flag. Well, do that without the flag. And honestly, I believe Frank probably should have de-affiliated as soon as he started off on this endeavor, almost like, hey, put your money where your mouth is. If you're going to be so critical and you don't like how we're doing things, don't have your affiliation through November of next year. Just fucking de-affiliate right now and then start organizing affiliates. So this isn't about shutting him down. And this isn't about telling him not to say what he's saying or not to do what he's doing. This is about, hey, saying you can fucking do all of that, but you're not going to do that while concurrently flying the CrossFit flag. So, yeah, say all the things you want. Say, do everything. Have your, I think his effort's called the CrossFit Affiliate Collective. And actually, fucking drop CrossFit. You should drop CrossFit from it. If you're so disappointed in how we're doing things and want to see it so differently, call it the Frank Affiliate Collective. So that went on this weekend. And so that's the latest on the initiative. Frank is no longer an affiliate. And I'm proud of CrossFit and I'm proud of Don for taking that action in this situation and de-affiliating Frank. Because he basically said, hey, he's not going to back off. He's not going to stop taking shots at us, taking jabs at CrossFit. And so it's like, cool. Then we have the power to say, we don't want you in our ranks. We don't want you to be an affiliate.
Okay, hold on a second. So I think the three of us, Dave and Frank, all agree on one thing. We don't blame. It sounds like Don. We all agree Don made the right decision. Like, yo, dude, you obviously don't want to be here. We're going to make the decision for you. I hear Dave's point about maybe he should have de-affiliated. He should have never paid his affiliate fees and re-upped. But I know it's a hard decision too, because Don probably feels very loyal to the name and the brand, just like everyone else does. And it's not easy for Don. So or for Frank. So I can't give him a, divorce is fucking hard. Do you think that's fair so far? We know that from what Frank's saying in the comments, what Dave's saying, and what Don did.
Yeah. The only thing that I worry about is what's the line that's going to be pushed. So like, is now this going to be a trend? Like if you start speaking out against CrossFit and stuff, are they going to start? Yeah. They start,
hey dude, that, okay.
Going to roll or what?
But he's not speaking out. He's not like, hey, fuck Dave. Like affiliates are allowed to say, hey, Dave's horrible at doing the open, or hey, fucking Rose is a pussy for not standing up against COVID and fucking grabbing his ankles and fucking lubing up all the affiliates' assholes and letting the government fuck them raw dog. You're allowed to say that. What you're not allowed to say, though, where Don's drawn the line is, hey, you can't be trying to take over the fucking company from the inside.
Interesting.
Right? You're allowed to say the food on this cruise ship is horrible. You're not allowed to pull the fire alarm.
Can't run a mutiny.
Yeah. Wouldn't you say, Souza? There's a line somewhere.
Yeah. That's just what I was wondering is like, obviously Frank wanting to organize people to kind of, for lack of better words, overthrow the current leadership at CrossFit was that line. So I could come on here and I could disagree with a lot of the money that they've wasted at a bunch of failed initiatives that have died on the vine, their lack of vision and direction for the company, the fact that they have no philosophical direction, but I'm not actually organizing against them. So that's okay. But if I take the next step to say, now I'm going to organize all these troops to come after you, then that's where they draw the line, right?
I was thinking about this. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead, Tyler. Go ahead.
Well, when I first listened to it, I thought about like, what sort of relationship do the affiliates have with HQ? Because he says a bit about like, he said something about a relationship, and I was like, oh, like in a marriage, you couldn't do certain things. There's like definitely lines to be drawn, but that relationship with like a marriage doesn't seem right. But this happens in churches all the time, right? Where this group over here doesn't agree with what's being preached on. So they sort of like raise their opinions for a while, and the church sort of bats it around for a while, and then eventually they're like, okay, this is the compromise, and then soon enough they're like, we're not happy with the compromise, and then eventually they just splinter off and do their own church. And we're seeing the same thing here now. Frank hasn't started his own church, but it's funny that we're treading similar sort of lines. The other thing I'm wondering,
I think Frank has made proposals. Maybe is a little strong, but he's laid out. I haven't looked at the CrossFit collective account closely, but I think I've seen videos where he's laid out, hey, it could be like this, and those it could be like this is a threat to the owners of the company.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's like your wife maybe asking if the ex-boyfriend can move in. We told HQ when we renewed that we were only renewing to give us time to move off the brand. Freedom of speech. Wow.
I
mean, what the fuck?
He was allowed to say what he wanted.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, what does that
mean? I don't think it was a problem with that. And the only thing I was bringing up was,
what does that even mean? Freedom of speech? They're saying that you should be able to say anything you want and still be an affiliate. I don't think you can do that.
You could have freedom of speech, but you're not going to have lack of consequences.
Right.
So there's a big difference there. You could say whatever you want, but realize that there's going to be consequences to what you're saying at the same time.
Yeah,
and you're not void of those.
It's their sandbox, and you're paying money to play in it.
Yeah,
and they're pretty loose with the fucking rules, dude.
And by the way, too, I wasn't saying like I was just speculating for the sake of our conversation here. I'm not even disagreeing with what they had done. In fact, it's probably better for the brand that Don actually did that, because it shows that they do have boundaries and they are going to push back and they will make tough calls when they have to, which is something that we haven't necessarily seen them do in the past. So
hey, how about this? I mean, you saw Greg had his balls out all the time. He'd be like, hello, everyone. Look at my balls. I mean, this is the first time I can't remember if we've ever seen Don's balls before, but it's kind of nice to see him. The community wants to see the balls. I mean, we're a ball-driven community.
We love the balls.
We love the balls. Yeah. And Don showed a set of balls. So, Frank, by the way, Frank, I appreciate this. We and most affiliates don't want to de-affiliate. We love the community and methodology. We don't agree with the decision made by private equity. Fair enough. Yeah. I don't, I'm on the exact same page as Frank. I don't like the decisions probably being made either.
So is that something an idea we have to get rid of? Is that I think he thinks of the kernel of, Dave and Don and all of those people at HQ as sort of really CrossFit, and then private equity is exterior to that. And he's like, this is a cancer. We need to cut it off. I want them out. This is what Frank is thinking, right? But is that an idea us as a community have to get rid of? Private equity is now part of it. And you have to get over this.
I just call myself the CEO.
It's worked out so far.
It's paying off.
The other thing I would relate this to is if I had an issue with, I would just relate it to the affiliate. If I had an issue with somebody at the affiliate that says Matt's programming sucks, I think the way they run the gym sucks, I want to gather all of his members, I'm talking now to his coaches, and we're going to take all this shit, we're going to leave, we're going to go up the street and start our own gym, I would immediately bring that person in and be like, hey, don't fucking come back here.
Right.
Like right
right.
away. I would cut them out
Mhm.
of there right away. We've had members who want to come in and do their own thing, and I'm going to the CrossFit games. And they sound like a douche to me. And you go over to the corner and you start slamming barbells and disrupting my classes. I go over there and say, hey, I think you should go to the gym up the street. I think you'd be better suited going over there. They're a better fit for you. We're not the fit for you. If you want to come in here and do your HWPO programming off to the side, go do that somewhere else. Here I'm about the class and about the community. If you don't want to fit into that, then we're not the right fit for you. And
That's happened to 3
people.
people. That's happened to 3 people on our in our co-op, in our consortium, in our locker room. We had to remove 3 people.
It's not it's not the right fit. And can we slap some people around on this whole entire freedom of speech is supposed to protect you from freedom of consequence? Dude, are you fucking kidding me with that?
Hold on. Before we get there, hold on. Let me get down there 1 second.
Right.
But I do want to hear that. I do want to hear that. Frank, I'm organizing affiliates to provide a third option. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Does Dave, you fought for our right of freedom of speech. What happened? Wow, this person's confused. Hey, dude, you don't know what freedom of speech is, dude.
DS.
No one's taking Frank's freedom of speech away. But if you yell your fucking sister's name, or if you yell your wife's sister's name into her ear when you're fucking balls deep in her, she's gonna leave you, dude. And are you gonna look in her eyes and be like, freedom of speech, Sally?
Yeah.
You fuck nut.
That was
Kendra.
You nailed it.
Yeah, it's Kendra. Yeah.
I got nothing more to say on the topic.
Come on, DS. Stop with the freedom of speech shit. Come on. Dude, this is the fucking smart room. This is where the logic is. Freedom of speech.
You made my point.
Holy
perfectly.
Shit.
That was actually much better than the analogy.
Debbie, send Frank like, no, this isn't a show. This isn't like a show like that. This is no. Thank you though. No. Thank you. I appreciate Frank being in the comments though. It's exciting and but I'm not this isn't that show. This is a fucking review show.
That was the only example that would have worked.
Herbert, Don has to protect the brand just as Greg did from threats outside and internally. This should be good signs for the affiliates. Yeah, Susie, you're always talking about the fact that there was one of the things you're concerned about CrossFit is that they don't have anyone on the mountaintop looking at threats. But Don didn't have to do that. This threat was in the inside, right?
Yeah.
We just have different opinions.
Wait, hold on. If you go further down in the comments, what I could see, he's saying, I stand corrected. My freedom of speech was the wrong approach. So let's give DS that.
Okay.
Like he's corrected himself. Okay. We're all up on the same page.
Right. Yeah, that wife one hit hard, right? That one hit me hard too.
That was beautiful. I mean, that was exactly the point that I was going to make, but the analogy you used. Fuck what I was
Miss Sally, why are you divorcing him? Well, Your Honor, he keeps calling out my sister's name when he's balls deep in me. All right, well, freedom of speech, bitch. Get back in the marriage. Okay. Not looking to overthrow Don and Dave, looking to kick out private equity. Fine, but I mean, at the time that you can say that, but I think what Sousa was saying, maybe Sousa elaborate. He's protecting the ship. Don's protecting the ship, right?
Yeah, that's the way that I see it. Yeah.
And by the way, Frank, I have no love for private equity. Like I'm not like I don't think these guys who own it. Well, I think I'm not like woohoo! I can't wait. They're gonna fucking take us to the next level. I think that the only hope for this company is Greg gets it back, and then when he dies, the whole thing goes away.
Wouldn't that be an amazing story?
Okay, action.
Forgot that was me for a second.
At Dax, Mauricio, Scott, Meza, 217. The team series as well as a liftoff were very good evaluations to identify the preparation process for the Open, giving me not only valuable data, but a clear idea of the resistance period and strength period of your programming. Yep, I agree. Just a supportive comment of the team series and liftoff. I would like to see one of those come back. They probably both won't, but I would like to see us do more of those in the off season and even have some regular tempo of workouts like that. Like Rogue's doing a good thing with the monthly challenges. I could see a scenario where we're doing something like that. Maybe not monthly, but maybe every other month or maybe monthly. Who knows? But I think we should get back to doing online competitions outside of the Open. At Gerald, CF, Octus.
I have no opinion.
That's sort of what.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Tyler.
Well, that's sort of it was Sevan. It was Dave's.
By the way,
version
Tyler
of
runs the
Sevan.
Heat One app. He wants a competition every fucking weekend. This motherfucker
I
is
do.
biased as shit.
I
Okay,
do.
but here we go. Here comes Tyler's opinion.
No, I was just saying that's Dave's version of when Sevan pulls up a comment and goes, "Okay," and then
it's like more of a statement. I think, I mean, I've already stated my opinions about how that if you're going to use the games as a marketing tool, that the season has to very nicely link up with the affiliates. And I think that that's completely way off base now, so that the games is drifting further and further away from being like a really strong marketing tool for the affiliates. I think that there's a really cool option to where you could bring back the open, but make it just about the affiliates. Don't even worry about it potentially going on to a next stage in competition, and make it just amongst like who's the fittest affiliate, who has the fittest members, who, you know, something of that sort, to where it mattered more like people showing up to run a 5K race together that, you know, are just using it as a goal marker. And I think that there's too much emphasis in the open from an outsider perspective looking in, being placed to making it to quarterfinals and being placed to for advancement and not just doing the thing as the thing. And so a lot of my members, when we start pushing them to sign up to the open, literally the number one response I get back is, "Oh yeah, because I'm going to make the games." So if you eliminated that and made it just, no, you're representing CrossFit Livermore, and the person with the most participation gets a certain, like, you know, place on the leaderboard. The people that completed all 3 workouts get a place on the leaderboard. Sounds like something familiar that we might be doing with behind the scenes, right? And like, you make it about the affiliates and you give them that as the, you know, putting them on the pedestal just amongst our cohorts, amongst our peers, I think would make something like that really viable. And you could do that outside of season, because it doesn't need to have a fucking season if it's not related to the ultimate show, which is the CrossFit Games.
I said this on Spin's podcast too. It's like semifinals should have community events at them. I don't know why they don't. And it's not even a competition. Like, you can just go to semifinals and do a 5K. Like, you're already there anyway. Why not test yourself? Like, there's a lot of low hanging fruit for these opportunities. I agree totally with Souza.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Sevan.
Why can't it be both, Souza? Why can't it be exactly what you said and you move on?
It was in 2018, and now we're too far away from it. And I just want to bring up Patrick Clark's comment here. It says, "It sounds great, Souza, but who runs this? They have a small team that couldn't even run the occupational games." I'm a really big belief of that CrossFit should have no business running this competition. I think that the product that they sell is the L1. I think that the upsell from that product is affiliateship. I think those two revenue lines subsidize the CrossFit Games, and they do it with touting this whole entire thing like it's a marketing tool for the games. It's fucking not. When I talk to my members and I go over there and I take a poll in my class and I say, raise your hand of who's following the CrossFit Games, raise your hand of who knows who Tia is, raise your hand who know who Laura Horvat is, I guarantee you majority of those hands do not go up in my classroom. So if I'm going to do that,
get rid of those people.
And I'm looking at the data directly in front of me, I could tell you that the power of the CrossFit Games as a marketing tool is starting to diminish.
Let me counter that. Souza went to the games this year and had a fucking amazing time. He's like, dude, I can't believe how energized.
Amazing time.
To go back and work in the gym.
yeah, I had an amazing time at the CrossFit Games, but I know what else I had an amazing time at?
I'm trying to change
affiliate gathering. I had an amazing time at the affiliate gathering, and for me, that brought a ton of energy, and also fired up my coaches that I got to bring with me because it was local. It was at a gym up the street, and all the local affiliates came. We started sharing ideas, and we were talking about different stuff, and that energizes me up to go back into the affiliate and give stuff back to all my members just as much, if not more, than the CrossFit Games.
Can I push back?
Yeah, please push back hard on them.
I was with you right there to the end.
Yeah.
Okay, so what the games serves as that like television spot to get people who don't know anything about CrossFit into a gym. How does an affiliate?
Television?
Yeah.
Who the fuck watches TV?
TV, YouTube, ESPN, something like that. Okay. How does an affiliate gathering do that for any new people?
Dude, if you had an amazing media team that was there and you covered all of it and you let all those speeches go and you started talking to the affiliate owners, what makes you fired up about owning an affiliate? Hey, is this your coach here? What makes you fired about being coach? What makes your affiliate special? What stories do you have to tell? And you produce media at scale at those events like they do at the games, you would have a much big marketing tool.
All I would see was a bunch of people talking about business that they owned, not something I should be doing. This is me pushing back.
Yeah, that was a weak pushback because as an interviewee, I'm leading the questions. Hey, what makes your gym special? What's special about your thing? How'd you get started?
There's no shortage of complaints about the lack of media, and the current media is I swear I wasn't going to do it, but I almost feel like bringing up the Twitter page. I read the last 5 Twitter posts 3 times, and then I took 5 deep breaths and tried to remember what I read, and I couldn't. I seriously, it feels like just tumbleweeds blowing through there. Their engagement everywhere is so bad. But the Open, it sounds like the Open's doing great, and I'm stoked. And fuck, maybe it's us. I'll take credit for it. Affiliates built this community, not private equity. Yeah. Hey, Frank, here's an interesting thing too. I think about a lot too. There's this thing can't ever be built. That's why it's such a weird thing. Like you can't be like, okay, I have $1 trillion and I want to build something like CrossFit. This thing cannot be built. The fact that this thing kind of exists is weird. Mm-hmm. This thing cannot be built. No amount of money can build this. This is a really weird. This whole CrossFit thing is a weird phenomenon. It's a bizarre entity. Okay, let's keep going.
Hey, Dave, I've been a firefighter for 18 years and also an affiliate owner, CrossFit Octus, since 2013, and recently had the opportunity to be part of a fitness and health committee with my department. What would the process be to implement an affiliate within my department? Thanks for all you do. Email the affiliate support email, and they will be able to steer you in the right direction to get an affiliate within your department.
Wait, pause that a second.
5410.
That was so fast for me. Where does the guy want an affiliate, and where?
It sounds like inside the fire department, which is weird because I don't know why that would be an advantage for them
to affiliate. They like to do it because they like to fly the flag.
Yeah, then CrossFit should be giving those out for free, dude.
They do.
Oh, thank goodness. That's awesome.
They do.
That's amazing. Yeah, because like, why would you, if you have a fire department or a police department that wants to fly the CrossFit flag, like send them a banner, be like, dude, we'll list you on our thing, like all of that.
Frank, Greg is not interested in buying it back. Greg has said on Sevan's podcast that he supports affiliates buying it back. Scott Morgan, this pussy is trying to keep his job.
Is he referring to me?
No, he's referring to Dave. Yeah. Yes. This guy has been hired to do a job, and he's going to do it to the best of his ability. That's correct. Any other astute observations, Mr. Scott? Thank you.
Will had a good point to Pool Boy's comment, because Pool Boy was saying he doesn't know of any other thing larger than the CrossFit games that brought people into affiliates. And Mike says the number one source of people coming into CrossFit gyms is definitely referrals from practitioners, and that probably makes up 80% of the people that do CrossFit. And that's what I agree with. I think like you have way more people showing up and dragging their mom and their cousin and their best friend to the CrossFit games. And then now you can make the argument, I'll make the argument for you, Sevan, that you would say that person that's the loudest one in the room telling everyone, bring anybody else in, came probably from seeing the CrossFit games on ESPN, on YouTube, and those type of things. I'm just saying that just like college used to be the one, you go for your 4-year college degree and you come out with your great job, right? That motherfucker diminished quite a bit. And that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's diminished under the current season and the current way that they have it built. I think if you build it back to how it was before, make CrossFit great again, then like you would have that straight line from open affiliates to regionals, the local gatherings for affiliates and competitors, and then the games, the Super Bowl. I mean, that was the fucking holy grail, man.
Travis B, I got into CrossFit pleasuring myself to Pool Boy's TikTok, riding a stationary bike with a mouth guard and dollops of sauce dripping out of his mouth. Jimmy Gross, I still don't get how we don't have an occupational games. Fucking nuts, dude. I'm pretty sure people would rather watch First Responders than the Teen Division. Dude, who cares who would watch it, who would not watch it? Talking to the base, they don't even know who the base is. They probably completely lost their way. They've probably completely lost their way. It's insane. There's no occupational game.
There is a question on the sign up for the Open that leads to that being an
What's
event.
it say?
It asks you what your occupation is.
Are they organizing it this year? Remember how last year you had to put in a hashtag? Will you actually be able to go to the website this year and put firefighter and see who the fittest firefighter is?
So I showed you guys a picture earlier of the hashtag. I was doing hashtag Sentinel for Taylor, but before that, there is like 7 or 8 check boxes of what your occupation is.
Well, look at Jay Hartle saying it's a hashtag. That doesn't cut it for me.
Oh,
I need more than a hashtag. I'm not hashtagging. I need to be able to push a dot that says elite women or individual women, and then one down there that says firefighters worldwide. And then I click on it and it shows me who the 10 top fittest firefighters in the world are.
Mm-hmm.
Has to be.
Mm-hmm.
Has to be. Okay. Action.
Affiliate support email, and they will be able to steer you in the right direction to get an affiliate within your department. At Corey Bakskowatsky 5410. Every week, someone has a new idea or positive change suggestion for CrossFit. You always answer, we are discussing it or have looked into that. Will there be any actual changes in the future or just discussions about it? Appreciate the honesty and openness of the reviews. So there has been a lot of change. There will continue to be a lot of change. And yes, there is a lot we are always discussing. And a lot of these ideas people do have. Some we're acting on, some we're discussing, some we're acting on. They're in various stages. But we're not able to just say, I can't see some of these comments and be like, that's a great idea. And then on the next week in review, it's like, yes, we are doing that. It's just the truth. There's a lot of this stuff we are discussing or we are looking into. And on that, some we decide to do, and it's just further down the road on the priorities or when it's going to happen. And other things we decide we can't do or are not going to do. So we're discussing it or have looked into it. Sorry that it's frustrating that I say that, but it's just the honest reality of a lot of this stuff.
Pause.
But to the point, will there be any?
I think Dave's only been back a year as in charge of the games. He's maybe been back almost 2 years in totality and only a year at the games. So they brought him in and he was just, at first, I think he was just a figurehead. Like they didn't know what they were going to do with him. Then Justin and the team overspent for the games. They got rid of Justin. They brought Dave in. And then Nicole moved to brand manager or brand something, chief executive of brand or whatever the fuck that position is. And then Dave became head of the training department. So I understand. It's because we have access to him so much that I think that question might seem like it has validity, but I think we need a little more time before we tell him he ain't doing shit. Is Dave a professional auctioneer? No, we're playing at 1.25, or maybe it's even 1.5. Man, it seems fast today.
It's 1.25. You want me to slow it down?
Sure. Okay, so here we go. Will Brandstetter. Okay.
Hey, hold on.
Actual changes in the future or just discussions about it. There are definitely changes and there are definitely things we are doing differently and we'll continue to do differently in the future. Thank you for that though. Thanks for calling me out on that. At Tomas Dawowski 9348. Hey Dave, thank you for answering my question on the open announcement. Can't wait. I'd like your opinion related to participating in the Open. I just recovered from a 3-month injury, and even though I kept training in a safe manner, obviously I did lose a lot of my fitness during that time. Knowing that I will not perform as well as I did last year, would you say I should still sign up for the Open and do the workouts? I am very competitive with myself, and I just don't know if I should do it or not. Of course, I'm going to suggest and say I think you should sign up for the Open and do it. I think you should actually I do think you should sign up for the Open and do it for this reason, for the learning experience of actually how you're going to take the workout and scale it or modify it to your specific injury or specific what you're working around. So use it as a learning experience. Use it as an opportunity to take what's this high intensity challenge that we put out 3 weeks over the year and learn and modify those to safely perform them for whatever you're dealing with. So yes, I think you should sign up for the Open, but of course you'd expect I would say that, right? At JB11.
Frank, multiple CEOs, Dave fired, rehired, repeated turnover, moving titles, responsibilities, lots of nothing. So went from Greg to Jeff Kane to Greg to Dave to Rosa to Allison to Dawn. Holy shit. And in all fairness, equal chaos in every department except training. Nicole held that down. Muscle Manos, she quit, and and then came back. But the affiliates a complete fucking shit show. Although they do have some fucking pipe hitters in there, like Daniel Chaffee. The media team, pure and utter chaos. Every department's just gone through havoc. I mean, Frank's right. I mean, it has been a wild fucking ride. And I used to talk about this all the time. Every time there's a tiny shift in leadership, you lose 1 to 6 months of employment horsepower, because everyone then's jockeying for position to suck the dick of the new leader and not lose their job. Because what happens is every time you get a new leader, there's becomes jockeying, and everything comes to a standstill. All of you who work in corporate environment understand that. So, we're lucky. We're lucky we have Dave as a sort of as a rock, as a constant, so yeah, I can't push back on that, what Frank's saying. But then what happens if all the affiliates buy the company? Then what happens is another 5 years of turbulence. I mean,
fair question.
Action. Oh, and you should join the Open. Everyone should sign up for the Open.
Josh Bridges. For whatever you're dealing with. So yes, I think you should sign up for the Open. But of course, you'd expect I would say that, right?
Echo.
At JB11334, Josh Bridges is 40. So I wonder if this was Josh Bridges saying this. So that would make you 50 to 55. There's no way you're that old. Okay, I'm not that old. I'm 46. So I guess I'm only 6 years older than Josh. Josh actually also hit me up and said, "Hey, dude, you're not that much older than I am." And I said, well, to me, you're always forever like 25, 30. And that's not the case. He's aged just like I have, but he's much 40. So he's 40. I'm 46. He's still, that's much younger. I mean, I remember 40 being very different than where I am now in my fitness level. This weekend, I shot a centerfire precision rifle match in Sacramento. Had a good time. Finished 6th. Had a couple stages where it didn't perform as well as I would have liked, but it was really fun. Great group of guys that I shot with. This week, have a pretty full week, traveling tomorrow and Wednesday to San Jose for some meetings with my EDU leadership team. And then Thursday, Friday, I'm going to head to SHOT Show for just the afternoon of Thursday, and then I'll fly.
Can you pause this too? I want to say one more thing too. They had a wave of wokeism run through the company. You have to remember that too. And a lot of it's still there, but they had a wave of wokeism run through the company. And so that's the antithesis. They had people there who are the antithesis of what CrossFit is. Like some people be like, CrossFit's a community, CrossFit's a fitness program, CrossFit's this. Well, one of the cornerstones of CrossFit is it's a fucking radical activist group. We eat butter, we eat steak, we squat below parallel, and we think it's okay for 80-year-old people to do pull-ups. I mean, we are fucking crazy. Like, we think we're in control of our own health. We think getting up and early and eating right and exercising is mandatory. Mm-hmm. We are fringe motherfuckers. And wokeism ran rampant through the company, which is the exact opposite of that. It believes in just complete and utter weakness and catering to the absolute lowest common denominator. You have to, I mean, that was fucking nuts that ran through all companies, CrossFit. I mean, they spent $500,000 on a fucking commercial for the games one year, and they were fighting over fucking rainbow jump ropes. I mean, it was fucking nuts over there. They made a video that was like, they spent your fucking affiliate money celebrating 13 of our 17 employees on the games media team are women. It's like, listen, motherfucker. So they forgot what we transcended, and they took us back to the Stone Ages. Mm. So So there was that chaos too. So
I worked for a mining company, and we had
God,
crazy...
you're Southern. God, you're Southern. Go on.
In my defense, it was that we operated mostly in the West, but
Coal mining,
no coal mining. It was like zinc and other
cobalt
minerals.
Cobalt in Africa.
But we had huge turnover in the upper strata of the company, and eventually, like the employees that I controlled, they were just like, why even start on this? We're just going to have to do processes all over again here in 2 months when the new CFO wants to do everything new. And so eventually, like after you have so much turnover, no one wants to work because they're just like, I'm just going to have to redo this in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, for all the things that you've said have died on the vine, it's like, well, yeah, no wonder. You don't have, and then you don't want to be the rogue, team on the inside that's just getting shit done without permission, because then you'll get your head chopped off.
Yep.
Oh yeah, they got a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
They're paralysis, fear paralysis.
Yeah, and that's just kind of echoing what Sevan was saying earlier about like with all the change in leadership, there's no way that there could be a ton of productivity coming from all those teams because everybody is doing exactly what you were saying.
Fucking holding on for dear life.
Yeah. I wanted to chat about Patrick Clark's question first. Should we finish off the last piece and then?
Sure. Yep.
So, as always, drop comments or drop your comment in the comment section, and I'll try to address it the following week. All right. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Josh is not aged at the same rate as Dave.
That's the hot take right there.
That's my take.
So
One's
I'm gonna
before you say this, I want to say one more thing, and then I want to bring this up a lot, and I'll go. It is a requirement for CrossFit affiliates to have a link to the journal on their website.
Used to be.
Think of the unutilized resource. It's not anymore. It's not a requirement.
No, I don't think it's been a requirement in a while.
I mean, so talk about a fiduciary duty to if I'm the board and I found out that was in the contract and it's gone, you're all fired. Every fucking person's fired. You had a link to 15,000 websites that would be maintained by other people that had to put up whatever you wanted.
Mm-hmm. And they dropped it. So that way everybody could be directed there to
that could take you to every video that you want to
Mm-hmm.
Imagine what that would do with SEO.
It'd be insane. Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go on. What were you going to say? That's it. I'll bring that up like 100 more times until I see them put that back. Someone needs to tell Dawn about that. Probably doesn't even know. Dawn probably doesn't even know. Probably never even heard that.
I bet you're absolutely right. Yeah. And I mean, I think it was being talked about in the thread today that the last thing that was uploaded to the CrossFit Journal was in December 23rd of 2018. And it was the Killing the Fat Man series.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I wanted to address this question, and Sevan, you'll probably have to help me out with this a little bit. But he said, my question for Sevan, and maybe Greg has said it before, but what was the plan for the NSCA settlement? That was already the wrong choice of words there, Patrick. Was the plan to stay within the top level leaders of CrossFit? Now, Sevan, I'll let you speak on this because you know way more about it than I do.
What was the plan to stay within the top level leaders of? What's that mean? What was the plan? What's that last sentence mean?
I don't understand it.
I get it. It's basically, were they going to keep what happened with the NSC case only in the top level of leaders in CrossFit? Were they basically just going to keep it hush hush, except for in that main group, or were they going to talk about it?
So for those of you who don't know, there was Sousa should have Greg on explain the whole thing, and Russell Berger. You guys can't even believe the fucking NSCA case. It is gnarlier than a Grisham novel. It is fucking wild. But basically, the NSCA was the largest fucking certification fitness group in the United States. The CrossFit showed up on the scene and fucking decimated them on accident. Not only it became the only place you could get a certificate worldwide. They were doing more certificates in a weekend than fucking NSCA was probably doing in a fucking year. It was fucking nuts. And so NSCA basically in their journal published a paper that said CrossFit causes injuries, and basically Greg found all the people who did the were in the study, and sent lawyers to their house, and the lawyer's like, hey, can you tell us if you were injured? They're like, no, I wasn't injured. Not a single one of them was injured. And then Greg's dad found the original paper and found the notes where they said, hey, we won't publish this unless you put in injuries. And it only gets more wild from there. Cell phones being flushed down toilets, iPads being smashed with hammers. The corruption was crazy. Then what happened was this, I think this was a federal case. Then they sued Greg, countersued Greg in California, because Greg, I think, called them retards or something. Called them soda whores. And they countersued Greg in California, which opened up a second case. And in that case, Greg asked for discovery and found out that they were giving them things in that case that they said in the original case didn't exist. And the two fucking judges got together, and this never happens in law. And I'm cutting out a lot of the stuff, but basically the judge said, and NSCA, by the way, dropped that case because they got fucking decimated. They found over 1 million hidden documents and found fucking collusion with like the NSCA and Budweiser and Coca-Cola and ESPN and all these people who were involved on some level with the demise of CrossFit. And you know why? Because he doesn't support any of those lifestyles. And so what ended up happening was there was settlement after settlement after settlement being offered, and they went through like 6 legal teams. A matter of fact, when there was one settlement offered and their insurance company said, hey, we're not going to pay CrossFit this money because we only pay if it's like an accident. You know, like your insurance won't cover you. Like if you get in a drunk driving accident, it's only if you're sober or something. It was like that. Like the insurance company was like, hey, because there's so much fraud here on your part, we're not even going to. Yeah. So they started suing fucking the NSCA, and it just got crazy. And the judge kept saying to Greg, when are you going to settle this? And Greg's like, when the discovery's done, we want more. And so the judge said this, and I forget what it's called. If there's a lawyer, they can tell me. They said, hey, this isn't even going to go to whether these people are innocent or guilty. This case will never be tried. As a judge, I'm saying they're guilty right now because of all the fraud and lying they've done. And the only thing the jury's going to be there is to determine the amount of the money. That happened in the United States of America. That shit don't happen. Judge is like, fuck it, they're guilty. There was not even a fucking trial or nothing.
The most egregious case.
Guilty. Yeah.
The quote was the most egregious case that has ever come across their courtroom. And it wasn't to stay within the top levels of the leadership of CrossFit. There was
what does that mean though? What does that mean? Stay within the top levels?
Like it wasn't talked about. And the thing was, it was talked about because there
was we made so much media on it, and Greg was never going to settle the case. He wanted to kill them. He called them a cancer that needed to be cut out. He was bleeding them dry from every angle. He was using every single legal resource to fucking decimate them. They were begging for settlements, and it was fucking nuts. And Greg would talk about it everywhere and anywhere. He would, even the stuff that he wasn't supposed to talk about or the judge said he couldn't, he didn't care. And Greg's metaphor was this: do you know in the Western movies when the good guys are dragging the bad guy around by his ankles, he's all, there's no destination. That's what I'm doing. There's no settlement. There's no amount of money. But there was one thing he would always say to fucking once a week. I heard it. Sevan, the only thing I care about is that this case is never sealed. I want everyone to always be able to go back and look at this. This is a museum quality specimen of corruption of the highest order in the sciences.
Yes.
And then he sold it and they settled it.
and here's what I would say, because when Greg talked about the corruption, and basically remember he did the Crush Soda tour, and part of the thing that he would say all the time on that Crush soda tour is, I don't want soda out of the grocery store. I don't care what soda does. I just don't want them in our exercise sciences.
Yeah, and yes. He didn't care. He'd be drinking a Diet Coke, a Jack and Coke, and be like, yeah, I don't give a fuck if you drink it, but they can't be in the sciences.
And then here's what they found
doctors to say shit. Yeah.
William Kramer, who was the guy who
falsified the paper, editor of the NSCA's journal. Yep.
Yes. They found out that the American Beverage Association was the only reason that the lights stayed on at the in that building. Yeah. And they funded William Kramer, and they were funding stuff with the NSCA. So what you had was this corruption coming into the exercise sciences from the American Beverage Association directly. And Greg basically started digging through and was unearthing that. And I will say this, that the NSCA was our Jeffrey Epstein. In the new regimen at CrossFit was the people who turned off the cameras and said he killed himself.
Wow.
That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. When Greg's on the show, ask him. He'll go off. It's crazy. The stuff. I'm not even the kind of the bizarre twist it took. I'm even leaving some shit out. I mean, there was sex, violence, and rock and roll. It was crazy. Patrick Clark, the NSCA was consolidating all their finances in preparation for them to declare bankruptcy protection to try to avoid paying out. I'm sure. I think that maybe they even tried that, but they had all their shit frozen. I think that basically all their shit was going to be given to Greg, like their buildings and their shoes. And like, I think that they were going to get just completely fucking ass pounded.
Yeah, I remember hiding in the back of a DDC L1, and they brought everybody in from the lecture hall, and they said, "Hey, come into the L1 that's happening right now. Greg's going to give a talk." And I like squeezed as far up against that back wall as I could, and I was listening to him talk, and he had said during this discovery that they had found something of 200,000 messages going back and forth from email and text to these people about this case and trying to cover it up and everything else, all the way up until that they hoped something bad would happen at the games to slow us down.
Dude, yeah. It was crazy. It was crazy. Yeah, crazy of course shit. There's, when Pepsi spends $300 million a year just on billboards advertising Gatorade. I use billboard as a metaphor for just advertising Gatorade, $300 million a year. Yeah, of course, there are people who've speculated that, hey, like, why not just buy CrossFit and make the whole thing go away? So of course that's been speculated forever. Yeah.
Speculation.
I don't think it's true, but a lot of people I know think it's true. All right.
Cool.
So the moral of the story is Frank needs to go to Pepsi and get money to buy the company.
If there's one thing you've learned this evening.
Yeah. I have hung out with Frank. He's a fucking mellow, cool dude. Chill. Threw down. Everyone seems cool when I have 4 pineapple margaritas, but yeah. And he's a CrossFitter through and through. Yeah, he's a CrossFitter through and through. All right. In summation, we saw Don's balls. People like Frank are concerned and making moves. And Dave is interested in keeping his job, which is like, I'm interested in keeping my job too. I'm scared to death after what happened to Mark Bell. Okay. We are trying to get Jorge Ventura on here at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. He is the leading border reporter in the United States today. And we can ask him just everything that's going on. Are we about to go into a civil fucking war? We're going to watch Texas and the fucking U.S. government go to war.
I'm getting uneasy after you just said we're terrified what happened to Mark Bell and then announced our next guest coming up. But it's going to be only on X. That show's only on X. Go over there.
Yeah, maybe we should only do that show on X. Maybe.
And Jorge's big on X.
To see just what happens.
Say that again, Tyler.
It'd be interesting to see just how many people go over and just watch that on X.
Yeah,
because I'm going to re-download it and fix it because I haven't had Twitter in a while.
All right. Well, thank you.
Sorry, X.
Twitter, it's fine. We're a non-binary.
No.
All right, guys. Thank you. And tomorrow morning, the president of Goruck, good friend Jimmy Letchford, hang out. Shoot the shit with him. See how he's doing. He's got a bunch of kids too, so it's cool. He knows some shit about raising kids. Love you guys. Frank, thanks for joining in the chat. Talk to you guys all later. Is there a new Spiegel shirt? What was that?
Are you reading text that's good?
Bye-bye.